Welcome to the Motivated Mummies Show, where you can find inspiration, motivation and collaboration. Today I'm here with Catriona Harbison, who is an emotional, the word that I can't say,
emotional integration and wellness coach.
Integration and wellness coach. So welcome to you and thank you for sparing your time with us today.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
So do you want to just introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so I am a single mother to a 3-year-old. We have a cat, a kitten, a large dog and some chickens. Yeah, I set up this business as to help people unravel their emotional triggers and understand how their childhood and their trauma are playing out in their adult lives through various different unhealthy patterns, usually presenting in our relationships, and how they can heal from that so they can live to their fullest potential and in line with their highest integrity. And I also, it's my mission to bring awareness to the normalised emotional and psychological abuse within our society.
Okay, definitely sounds like a good mission, and I believe that we need so many people like yourself, because I've had people come to me and say, oh, but you know, there's so many coaches out there, but when there's so many people suffering out there, there can never be enough coaches and mentors and therapists, you know, so it's a fantastic job that you are doing.
Yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, that's the way I feel as well. And I mean, we resonate with different people. We all tell our stories in a different way and we all communicate differently. And I think that's the important part, is finding somebody who, you know, you actually totally understand, or that you really vibe with them, you know, their journey, what they've been through. And I think that's what people look for in a coach, is that understanding, and is somebody who's walked the path that you are on at the moment, and so they're really in the best position to help you.
Definitely. This is what I hope for the collaboration part of the Motivated Mummies Show, that people can switch on and they can see all different people, and like you say, just be like, oh, I really get her, you know, where can I find more about her, because she's on my level and I get her and I understand her pain and her journey, and I need her in my life.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, I had those people over the past 3 years when I was going through my most challenging point in my life, you know, as a single mother with a 6-year-old baby, and yeah, and so now I'm at the point where I've healed myself enough that I can be that person for other people. And I mean, I have been for the last couple of years, whilst I have been healing myself, and I wanted to put myself out there. I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel for the past year, but it's actually taken me another year to sort of get my own emotions and triggers, and I've been healing from CPTSD over that time as well, so yeah, I still had quite a lot of work to go.
That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, I literally done a live today in my group saying that I wasn't feeling brilliant, I wasn't feeling happy, and you know, you get those days. You can't wait until you're completely fixed before you help other people, because we're more relatable when we are going through things, because it helps us to remember how it feels to be a bit down, or to be stressed, or to be struggling. And you know, I think the people that do wait until they're, you know, completely wonderful, they'll be waiting forever, because there's always going to be some growth, isn't there, that we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's always somebody who we can help.
Yeah.
At whatever stage of the journey we're on, there's usually something about our experience that could help somebody else, and that's why I think it's really important. I think it's lovely that everyone's started sharing their stories, and this is, you know, all of the coaching and the whole social media platform and knowledge commerce as a future business, which is the way we're going. You know, I think it's so important. It's such a lovely movement, and thank you for what you're doing.
You're welcome. So let's jump into some tips then for other people. You have a young child, you have your own business. What do you do to try and balance that and to juggle the two?
Well, I try and be as mindful as possible about about my presence, I was just saying to you before we started, I've been trying to start this YouTube channel. I wanted to post my first video last week, but I've actually had all of these hurdles because I'm a single mother to a 3-year-old. And but it's really important that when we are with them, that we're really present with them. And that's something that we actually, a lot of us need to learn within ourselves as well. And so cutting out sections of time for specific things. So, for example, I've had to come up here and do this video, but I've had to tell my son, so you know, that we're doing certain things today, that this is our section for play. You know, we have this section, and then we're doing this, and then we're doing this, and so he has more of an understanding of that, and to not you know, to not disrespect their intelligence as well, however young the child is. I believe we're naturally empathic. I believe we're all born empathic, but if that's not tuned into in those very early months, it's been shown that if we don't respond to the very first like signals before the noises in the first 3 months, that they stop using those certain calls for certain things. Have you seen that? There's a TED talk some years ago now, and and so again, I think like empathy and our intuition and being able to, you know, sit with ourselves and ask ourselves how we are. You know, it's not just our children who have difficulty with their emotions and their behavior when their emotions are too much. Like that's the same reason for us, you know, but we don't deal with it in the same way, or we don't have that compassion for ourselves. And so I think one really important tip is to just give yourself permission to check in with yourself several times a day, and actually, you know, really ask how you are and how you're feeling, because, you know, again, like some of us don't get that from other people, or we can be quite isolated in motherhood, and it's really, really important to honor and value our own emotions, and to really ask how we are, and to sit with that and process it, and give ourselves love and compassion.
That leads us into like the next question on mental health and wellness. Would you say that is one of the things that you do to keep your mental health in a good place?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really, really important. So many of us, and I was saying about sort of normalized emotional abuse, there are so many practices in our society that is actually normalized emotional abuse, like just emotional invalidation. You know, from when we were small and somebody said don't cry, or oh, you're fine, you know, like somebody else telling you how you feel is extremely emotionally invalidating, or somebody not truly listening or caring how you feel. I mean, it's really, really fundamental to us as human beings to need that. We're wired for connection. It's a primitive, it's an actual survival need for us as children. And that's, you know, up until the age of 7 or 8, we're developing that sense of self and security within the world. And there's a gross misunderstanding of trauma within our society. It doesn't have to be a huge life-changing event. It's anything. Trauma is the emotional individual perception of a situation. Something that could be hugely traumatic for one person could not faze another. And you know, and that leaves an energetic imprint in us for the future, and that's what sets how we feel about ourselves and our subconscious self-belief. And again, that's why asking ourselves how we are and being able to tune into that is really important. And so breathing is the fundamental tip I have, and it sounds so simple, but just because something's simple doesn't mean it's easy. And actually, they did an experiment to I can't remember which university it was now, the University of Virginia potentially, but they did an experiment to see if people could sit alone with their thoughts. They just had to sit in a room on their own, and with no form of external stimulation. They were given a button and said that if they pushed it, they'd get an electric shock. But that it was up to them whether they pushed it or not. All they had to do was sit with their own thoughts. One man pushed it 190 times in 15 minutes.
Oh,
So, just to put it into perspective, how difficult we do find it to sit with ourselves, and how real that anxiety is. But all our emotions come from our thoughts. And so, just being able to sit and center ourselves. And I like to describe it as taking half a step back. Because if we can become the observer of our thoughts, then we can not get swept away in all of the emotional madness that comes with it. And so breathing is the fundamental. When we breathe in, so can you see the kitten climbing up the back of my chair? He's mad. Bit quiet in the toddler though. When we breathe in slowly through our nose and breathe out through our mouth with the out breath longer than the in, if we can do that 3 times, it instantly, our vagal nerve, which is the communication between our gut brain and our head brain, it regulates our blood pressure and heart rate to our breath rate. Immediately. And it also instantly suppresses the adrenaline and cortisol levels in our body. It releases endorphins. Another really interesting thing, which is why health, it's one thing, it's not a mind-body disconnect. Our health is a holistic thing. We have to look at the one. 90% of our serotonin is actually stored in the gut. So it's really important, and that's why people talk about gut health so much. Or it is starting to be recognized. So in that vagal regulation, it regulates our hormones, and it gives us an immune system boost. Just in that moment of presence as well, it brings us back into our prefrontal cortex. That is mindfulness. It's the fundamental of all meditation, is this simple breath work, and just being able to focus on your breath instead of your thoughts, and sort of emotionally tai chi your thoughts away, because that's why I like to think of it as taking half a step back. Just, if you can just lean out of it slightly and sit there instead, and let it just all sort of, and when the thoughts come, just sort of let them come and say, okay, thank you, and let them go again. and that's why practice, isn't it? It's it is a challenging practice.
Is that actual mindfulness, or is that a whole combination of different things there?
I think it's my thing, my amalgamation that I've created.
Great. It's just that I have a lot of people say to me, oh, I really want to be more mindful. I've heard that I should be mindful, but they don't really know where to start. So can you give us some tips on, if somebody has not got a clue, where would they start with this? What can they do?
I think that probably is the best tip, is to just start with your breath, and to just allow yourself the moment to, you don't have to sit, to just, that is your time, that is your minute, or 3 minutes, or 5 minutes, or whatever you want to do. Work your way up to half an hour, but to just allow your thoughts to come, but allow them to pass again, because as I said, all emotions come from a thought. They all start off as a thought, and so if we can not let the thoughts overwhelm us, then it will have that effect on the emotions as well, and we can start to control that and regulate it. And just being vigilant about what we're saying to ourselves, because then that does give us that mindfulness. It's about being in our mind instead of in our body, basically, instead of all caught up in our emotions. Breath work is the best way to start. I think it's available to all of us at any point. Just instead of letting the thoughts overwhelm you, just focus on your breath, and Yeah.
How often would you suggest, if somebody's starting out, in this new mindset, how often throughout a day would you say somebody should do this? Once, twice, 5, 10? What is a good thing to do?
Whenever you can.
Okay.
Literally try and get into the habit of just allowing yourself that whenever you can.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just 1 minute to just sit down and, as I said, check in with your body and to re-regulate your breath, because that's also bringing us back in line with our intuition, which is so important both in business and as a parent, as a general human being.
Yeah.
Because that's, we only feel guilty when we do things that are outside of our integrity, I believe. And when we're tuned into ourselves, and when we're in line with when we're tuned into our intuition, and we can actually sense and feel, what we inherently know we should do. We have that sort of sixth sense or whatever, because all of our paths are different. And I think it's so easy to get caught up trying to compare yourself, or you see it on the parenting sites, and it's like, oh, is this normal, and is this normal, and should this be doing this, and then in business, and it's like, oh my god, is this right, or can I do this, or and really we do have that. We have the ability to have that faith in ourselves. And I think this is all, again, similar to trauma symptoms of us not having that solid foundation in ourselves in childhood, and to be able to trust our intuition, because perhaps we've been taught to doubt it.
Yeah, true. That is so interesting, and I'm definitely going to take that tip. I'm definitely going to sit and just do some breathing today, because I think I need that today. I needed to hear you today, and we tried to hook up a couple of weeks back and it didn't work, and really needed to hear you today. So,
yes, absolutely, because I believe that the universe works in mysterious ways.
it does indeed.
Yes, everything is always exactly on time.
And that's what I was going to say to you for your YouTube. When it comes, it's going to be perfect timing for you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm now thinking about going live on Wednesday and just going for it. I'll just go live and invite people to come. So
sounds like a good plan. So where can we find you? If somebody has resonated with you and needs you in their life, needs to hear more of your words of wisdom, where can they find you?
Oh, please come and connect on me. I've been most active on my Facebook page, Forever Integrated. I'm also on Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter. And I'm just waiting for my website to go up at foreverintegrated.com. And my YouTube channel, again, Forever Integrated. I guess it'll be Forever Integrated TV. So exciting. Yes, I'll be up on YouTube this week. I'm hoping to post a video today or tomorrow, and then I'll go live on Wednesday.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to share that with us. I really
Thank you. You're quite welcome. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for all of the work that you're doing.
It's a pleasure, absolute pleasure. So enjoy the rest of your day, and to everyone else, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.